testimony will be an encouragement to most of you. So Sharon and I got married in 2013, and after we got married, we, Sharon moved over to US, and then we got a lot of prophecies by servants of God that this and that. And one thing that they prophesied over and over again was we will have kids, children. And at that moment, it didn't make sense. We were just newly married, and then we took on this journey, right? And this journey was brutal sometimes, I would say. It was challenging, and sometimes a lot of disappointment. In 2015, we had our first miscarriage, and it was such a difficult time for us. And we had faith in God. We prayed to God saying, God, you promised us this child, but we lost the child. And in 2016, it happened again, and it was very discouraging. At that time, Sharon is a person who writes promises and prophecies and then prays over it. And so she was praying about it, and she spoke to that person, Shibaka, who had prophesied over us, saying that we're going to have children. And she asked her, like, you prophesied this, but we just had our second miscarriage. What's going on? And she said, God wanted me to tell you at that time, and I'm going to tell you again, you're going to have children. And I know one of our good friends from California, Dinatraki, she also sent a message around the same time. She said, I saw you with a child, and the number was 8. Right? I do not know what it means, but the number was 8. So this is the journey that we took, and it was after that we went to a lot of procedures and whatnot. Everything was not working, nothing worked. And 2019 hit. 2019 was a difficult year for us. Sharon lost her mom, and then 2020 hit, and everybody knows that that's the pandemic, right? It was one of the most challenging years in 2020. And 2020, end of 2020, we had, there was no church on the 31st night. And I could remember just like yesterday, we were at Solomon's place, and at 2020, 31st night, Solomon and James and Rajika and Sharon and I, we decided we'll go to a room and we'll pray. And while praying, Solomon said, we do a lot of things as a family, but one thing we don't do is we don't pray together as much. So we decided at that point, as 5 of us, we'll do a weekly prayer. And one of the things that we prayed was having children, right? We kept on praying, and at that time Solomon also mentioned we need to talk to somebody who has gone through this experience, who will be able to encourage you. So one person that came to mind was Jayan, Pastor Moses. He's in Australia. He's a good family friend of us. And we called him and we prayed with him. And he took a word of faith and he said, you're going to have a kid by Christmas. Christmas you're going to celebrate with a child. And he prayed over us. He prayed over the phone a couple of times. On April 4th, it was 2 days before Dad's birthday, we were at Party City, kind of shopping for decorations and whatnot, and we get a call. And the call said, you guys are expecting. And it was one of the most joyous moments. And I could remember I called Solomon, I called James, and I said, listen, pray on us, it's happening, right? A couple of weeks after, Sharon comes over to me and says, I think we are miscarrying this baby too. It was challenging. That night I remember I cried in my bed and I was asking God, you promised all this, but you're going through the same thing over and over again. It's challenging, it's not easy. And that day I had to rush Sharon to the hospital, and I was going to the hospital as well. And due to pandemic I could not go to the clinic, and Sharon had to go by herself, and I was in the parking lot. And this was my prayer. I said, God, you are the one who breathes life into us. And you are going to breathe life into this baby. And the next moment, Sharon gives me a call and she says, we had a hematoma. It was scary, but the baby is fine. I'm fine and the baby is fine. And the doctor also was a nice doctor. He held Sharon's hand and he had told her, I do not know why it happened, and I cannot promise this is not going to, it's going to work out, but you guys are fine. So the journey started from there. It was a scary moment, and we prayed every week. We used to pray, meet and pray. And all of our babies were like 35, 36, 37 weeks, right? So we were also expecting around 37 weeks we'll have a baby. But we get to 38 weeks, 39 weeks, and the doctor says, book appointments till the 42nd week. 40th week, they normally don't do a checkup. They do an extensive checkup, like a 2 hour, half an hour checkup. And we went for the checkup, and they're monitoring the baby's heart, and the half an hour checkup turns into 2 hours. And after 2 hours, they basically tell us the heartbeat is okay, but I'm not satisfied. We're not seeing peaks and valleys. So when we heard that, they said, pack your bags, go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital. We checked in. I called Dad and I said, take care of Coco. We don't know the baby's going to come out today or not. It's on a due date, so we went there to the hospital, and while they're monitoring, they said relax and monitor, so we're just relaxing, watching TV, and all of a sudden, this nurse walks in, and she tells Sharon, turn on your back, and there's another group of medical staff in the building, and they're like, the baby's heartbeat is going down.
He didn't know?
It's going down, and I could see the figures going from 140, 120, 110, 100, like it goes up to 50. And they're saying for 12 minutes the baby's heart was very low. And they're saying we do not know what happened, but we have to take this baby out immediately. And even at that point I was praying to God saying, Lord, you are the one who gives life. Not me, not anybody else. That's one thing that I depend on you. You are the one who has to breathe life into the baby. And all of a sudden, the heartbeat came back up again. And we were able to, again it went down the second time as well. At that point, at 1:15, they even took her. I couldn't even get dressed. I was getting dressed getting ready to go to the theater, the operating theater. 1:15, they took her in, and 1:30, she came out. And this is a message that I want to leave 3 points that I think it will be an encouragement to you. One, God, He is a promise-keeping God. Whatever He promises, He fulfills it. Second thing is, that even though there were so many promises, there are so many discouragements, so many struggles. And one thing that really helped us was praying with people who really care for you and they encourage you. Right, and so group with people who encourage you and they pray for you. The third thing is, God is never too early, He's never too late, He's always on time. Eden was born on the due date, which only happens, I think, 5 or 10% of the time. She was right on time. So praise God for everything that He has done through our lives, through Eden. And I pray that she will be a blessing to you. And I thank you for being a blessing and praying for us, even at the weakest, the saddest moments in our life. Thank you. Thank you.